Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the full card of fights for UFC 307 Pereira versus Rountree. So without further ado, let's get to our full card. Let's get to our first fight on the card. We're doing the full card predictions and let's get to our first fight on the card. And you see that I already clicked on the fighter and the method is because I was interrupted while I was doing this prediction video, but I ain't going back to, act like I haven't already been like a quarter way through this card predicting it. But yeah. First fight on the card, we got Tim Means versus Court McGee. As you can see, I got Tim Means by KO, second round. Confidence level is low for Tim Means to beat Court McGee. Two of these guys are old veterans. At first it was seeming like it was a easy pick for Means, but the more I look into it, it's two old veteran guys, two guys clearly over the hill. McGee is the more well-rounded fighter, so I can't go with great confidence like, oh, Tim Means going to destroy this guy so easily. I can't. It seemed like that and probably will be like that, but can I put that much confidence in him? No. And I'm glad to not put confidence in, and I'm proud to not put great confidence in Tim Means. If you want to make that your lock of the night, it's good for you, but for me, low confidence Tim Means. But yeah, I think Court McGee has worn a lot of damage. He might not have got knocked out his last fight. Might have went to the distance. But I think Tim Means packs way more power than Morano overall. Even though Morano stopped Tim Means, which, hey, common opponent. McGee went to a close decision. You got stopped. But yeah, another reason why the confidence is low. But yeah, I think Tim Means is going to pressure. I think he's going to have solid wrestling defense, or at least okay wrestling defense, and constantly be able to put the pressure on Court McGee and be able to tag that weathered chin of Court McGee. And I think he puts Court McGee out in the second round. So in this one, I got Tim Means via second round TKO. Now to our next one, we have in the light heavyweight division, we got OSP or Oven St. Preux versus Ryan Spann. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Ryan Spann to beat OSP. Yeah, this should be a high confident pick. Now not based on what it is, but the reason, it's because of who it is. Since I'm just saying basically, whereas Ryan Spann is in his career, the skill and talent he has, and where he's in his career, he's in his prime. OSP is clearly over the hill, and all the skill you have, this should be a lock confident pick. But it's the mental of Ryan Spann, it's the chin of Ryan Spann. Like, you cannot trust this guy. He has all the talent in the world, but he can't piece together. Like, even he could piece together, this guy would not be no champion. He might be if he can be a champion, but very, very slim chances. But the way he is, the way he thinks, the way he fights, and who he is as a person, this puts you in a position where he's a favorite, but he's a low confident favorite against an OSP that's clearly over the hill. But yeah, I think Ryan Spann, again, in his prime, he has the size and the power. His last one had OSP's last one had the size, but he was more so like a pillow fisted fighter for the most part. OSP was able to take advantage of that. Whereas Ryan Spann should be able to take advantage of the glass chin that OSP currently has. He has the size and power and the skill to be able to put that power on OSP's chin early and get OSP out of it. And I think that's what Ryan Spann does. So unlike OSP's last opponent, yeah, he looked good. He pulled off an upset. But that guy was like a long arm, pillow fisted guy. Whereas Ryan Spann's a big body, long as well, and he has power and it has a proven path to be able to knock people out in sub if he's a proven finisher consistently. Not a proven winner, not a consistent winner, but he's definitely a consistent threat. That's what I would say about Ryan Spann. And he'll be able to put that heat on Preux early and put Preux out early. So in this one, I have Ryan Spann via first round TKO. Now to our next one, we have in the women's strawweight division, we got Carla Esparza versus Tisha Pennington II, really Tisha Torres. How you were Tisha Pennington II when you were just, that's not even your original last name. It makes no sense. But again, we live in Sodom and Gomorrah. We got a lot of stupidity going on, a lot of mental illnesses going on. So, yeah, she wants to be Pennington II. I remember her being Tisha Torres II. So now when she marries a woman, she's Tisha Pennington II. Like, that makes no sense. And I never even heard of. You really ever hear a woman be like Mary Elizabeth Joseph II? You hear like John George II and John. Like, you hear male seconds. You don't hear female seconds. Like, it's all mentally ill, but. Yeah, and hopefully she's mentally ill in this fight and she lose, and I can get a plus money underdog on Esparza against this mental illness. But yeah, Esparza versus Tisha Torres, low confidence Esparza to beat Tisha Torres. It's like 1-1, I think, between these two. And as far as like overall fights, I think the fight Esparza one was on tough. It really should matter because that fight led to the finale, which was for a title fight. So in reality, I said reality. I'm getting mentally ill talking about this fight. And so in reality, that fight really meant more because that made Esparza, the first ever UFC strawweight champion, and now she's a two-time strawweight champion because she beat Rose Namajunas in that No, she beat Rowan Namajunas twice because she beat her to get the belt the first time. Did she beat her to get the belt a second time? But yeah, but yeah. Let me get to the point on this one. I just think Esparza, I don't like the fact that Esparza just had a kid. She's talking about retirement. Yeah, so this kind of like not liking, I'm not liking it, but I already picked Esparza. I'm gonna stick with it. But I think Esparza does mix it up more. I think she's gonna be able to push the pace. She's not the most prettiest striker, but she will let her hands go, and she has been able to hold her own in the striking with a lot of good people, including Pennington. And I think also mixing in the takedowns is going to help her edge the fight. So she's going to be in there trading with Pennington, but also mixing up the takedowns more than Pennington, and being a more well-rounded threat. And that's going to lead to her getting her hand raised in a close fight. Probably going to be controversial, whatever way it goes, but I think it goes Esparza's way, and I think she wins by decision. Another thing, it's not like Tecia Torres really has some great, she don't have so much more in her career. Like, she's close to retiring. She really should retire herself and just be a housewife. Like, she really ain't got much left in her tank. Esparza, she's realized she ain't got much left in her tank. So it's not like a case like, oh, you got this new up and comer versus this old person on the way out. They're both on the way out. So it's not that angle's not as great. But yeah, Esparza by decision here. Now to the next one we got in the lightweight division. We got Alexander Hernandez versus Austin Hubbard. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Austin Hubbard to beat Alexander Hernandez here. Yeah, low confidence Hubbard to beat Hernandez here. I just like what I've, to sum it up, I just like what I've seen from Hubbard in his last fight, and I have not liked what I've seen from Hernandez. The positive for Hernandez is that this is not at featherweight, and Hernandez should never again fight at featherweight. Not on the regional scene, not in Bellator, not in PFL, not bare knuckle boxing, nothing in his life, wrestling, no matter what competitive thing he does further going on in his life. He should not fight at featherweight. Featherweight treated him horribly. And it makes sense why he was horrible at featherweight. He's a guy that commits to everything, very passionate, doesn't really mind his cardio, and then you're going to weight drain yourself. You were already pretty lean and cut at 55, and your style was not economical at 55. Now you dropped to 45. You're not as durable no more. You don't have the cardio for the style that you have, and it's not like you're really picking up strength. Matter of fact, you're depleting yourself. It's not like you're some hulking beast. And then the technique goes up at the lower weight class. So it makes sense why he was terrible at the weight class. 55 is his weight class, and he should stick at 55 and just work on his skills. And maybe he did that in this camp, and that will lead him to better results. But I do feel like Hubbard, in his last fight, showed growth. And I think he always has shown that he could push a pace. And he always shown toughness for the most part. And we look at most of the losses, he lost to submission grapplers. He didn't lose to the guy that is looking to wrestle. Hernandez doesn't really have no great submission threat. He doesn't really have no great ground and pound. He hasn't really shown a great, consistent ability to control fighters so much. Maybe a little bit earlier on in his career, but as of late, he hasn't really shown no great ability to control no one on the ground. So I think Hubbard will be able to address the wrestling, outpace him, outwork him, pick the better shots, and just show the better fight IQ. And I think he edges a decision over Hernandez here. So in this one, as I have highlighted here, I have Austin Hubbard via decision. Now to our next one, we have in the middleweight division, we got Ihor Potieria versus Cesar Almeida. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence, Cesar Almeida to beat Ihor Potieria. Should I make this long or should I make this one short? I'll make it short because I've already, yeah. But yeah, Cesar Almeida KO second round. Ihor Potieria, it's not like he has the upside that Roman Kopylov. Roman Kopylov was on the tier at one point in the middleweight division. Roman Kopylov actually had clean clinical striking. Again, that is proven too because he had actually a track record. He was on a streak at middleweight looking better and improved. And then, he's been training with the right people. And in that fight against Cesar Almeida, showed improvement in striking. And then he was fading like he was about to get stopped in the second and third round by Cesar Almeida. But he was able to switch it up and go to the wrestling that he's been working on. Whereas Ihor Potieria has not shown any track record or it's not in his resume. It's not in his history to show any great grappling. So I think Cesar Almeida should be able to address his grappling. And he has fought better grapplers and has done okay there. And Ihor Potieria is just really a sloppy, unorthodox striker. And I think Cesar Almeida will be able to pick that up, break him down, rip him to the body. Also, Ihor Potieria, in really a lot of his fights has shown bad cardio. And really look at the entirety of his record, for the most part, outside the time he fought a guy with worse cardio than him, he's been like a guy that's looked good in the first round, but then looked bad in the second round. That's been able to be exploited in that area. And I think Cesar Almeida will be able to exploit that to a T, break him down over the course of the first round, and constantly dig in that body, invest in that body, then bring those shots up top, or maybe just finish down to the bottom and stop Ihor Potieria in the second round. So in this one, I got Cesar Almeida via second round TKO. So Cesar Almeida, second round TKO. Now to our next one, we have in the women's strawweight division, we got Marina Rodriguez versus Iasmin Lucindo. And how do I feel about this one right here? is I'm going low confidence Marina Rodriguez to beat Iasmin Lucindo. And yeah, I feel like this could be actually be an average confidence for Marina Rodriguez, but yeah. Yeah, I feel like Lucindo is kind of being a little bit too hyped up here, pushed on the odds for whatever reason. She's beat up a couple cans, like in a shell of herself, Karolina Kowalkiewicz. She's not like she's some big power puncher. She's not like she's like some great submission grappler. She's like she's a young, talented, all-around fighter, but she has not really put it all together to put on such an amazing performance. You know, the best opponent she fought was Yazmin Yaragui, who has a glass chin, and she clearly got, I think, outstruck the whole fight and didn't really do nothing great in that fight. And even against the old Karolina Kowalkiewicz, her grappling didn't look all that great. She didn't really do nothing. And it looked like she faded at points in the fight. And I feel like Marina Rodriguez, at this point in her career, is still, you know, a good level ahead of Yazmin Yaragui, who is the best opponent Iasmin Lucindo has fought, and who has, you know, thoroughly beat her. Not like she got washed, but it was a clear who won. It was a no split decision. It was like, oh, I think she won this, I think she won that. You really could say Yazmin Yaragui won every round. Competitive fight, but not that competitive, is all I'm saying. And I feel like Marina Rodriguez grappling, you know, really this one is Marina Rodriguez grappling that they feel like Lucindo can exploit. But has Lucindo really looked like some world-class grappler? Like, oh, she take you down. Oh, she's like the Damian Maia, or she's some big submission threat, or she's like female Khabib. Like, she's barely Eileen Perez. Like, you know, she hasn't really shown no great grappling yet. It's there, but I feel like Marina Rodriguez's experience is gonna be more. She is not, and also like Marina Rodriguez has only been losing to elite competition. Like the people she's fighting are all like on the cusp of title shots. Like people, at least the people she lost, are all on the cusp of title shots. And even the people she beat, matter of fact, I think she beat Xiao Nanyan, or did she beat Xiao Nanyan? Maybe I'm wrong about that. By the way, she fought Xiao Nanyan. Xiao Nanyan fought for a belt. No, she's been fighting, you know, elite competition. And I feel like Marina Rodriguez is gonna be able to address the grappling for the most part, and be able to outwork and outstrike and use her experience to beat the young Iasmin Lucindo, who's only like still like 22 years old. Yeah. So yeah, I think Marina Rodriguez's experience coming. I think her grappling defense is being, or lack of wrestling defense or whatever, is being overstated here. And I think she'll be able to address that and be able to outwork, be longer, be more technical on the feet, and beat Lucindo by a decision here. So in this one, I have Marina Rodriguez via decision. Now to our next one, we have in the welterweight division, we got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson versus Joaquin Buckley. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence Joaquin Buckley to beat Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. Yeah, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson was a beast. He's still a beast. He's still one of the best strikers in all of MMA, in all of MMA history too. But he's up there in age, and he has clearly shown an issue with wrestling. You could say how to do this, how to do that. It could be this and that. But Buckley, you know, you clearly see the hunger in Buckley, and he's putting it all together. And he's not about to drop this streak to old 41-year-old Thompson, who has already been exposed and exploited and battered and just dominated in the grappling department. And Joaquin Buckley can mix up, be explosive on the feet. He has power that Thompson has respect. He has explosiveness that, and unorthodoxness that Thompson has respect on the feet as well. So it's not like Buckley this wrestler who just got an overhand. That'd be Thompson's perfect opponent to still beat, or a fighter who just strikes. That'd be a perfect opponent for Thompson to beat. But Buckley is explosive. He's dangerous. He's unorthodox. He's powerful. And also he has wrestling. In his last fight, he showed that he could wrestle, you know, for 15 minutes and look good and go for a shot after shot, heavy ground and pound, mix it up, and also with a longer, bigger guy. So yeah, Buckley showed that he could deal with that. By no means do I think Thompson's a walker. I definitely think he's live here, or has a chance here, but I don't think Buckley's going to give up, you know, this momentum to a 41-year-old fighter on the downturn. I think Buckley's going to be mix it up, possibly get a stoppage over Thompson. But yeah, I see a decision here. I think he's going to be able to surprise Thompson on the feet with his speed and explosion, and probably be able to tag him a couple times and surprise Thompson with that. But also be able to maybe fake an overhand or fake a strike, blast and shoot Thompson off his feet, don't give him a chance to defend. And just like, again, just mix it up. And I don't think it's going to be a case like, oh, he's going to have to fight and struggle for every single takedown. I think at some point Buckley's going to be able to get the takedown and be able to secure them in rounds and to be able to rest in a position and, you know, mix in good ground and pound and ride out the position. And I think he beats Thompson via decision here. So in this one, I got Joaquin Buckley via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, we got Roman Dolidze versus Kevin Holland. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Kevin Holland to beat Roman Dolidze. Yeah, Kevin Holland. I wouldn't say his last performance was perfect. I would not say that. The outcome was what I expected, but not the way it happened. And I do feel like Holland a lot of time couldn't give a wrestling. But I feel like Dolidze's wrestling pretty terrible. And I feel like Holland's a much cleaner striker. But I wouldn't like be so surprised if Dolidze was maybe able to catch Holland and maybe whether it be like a slip or like on a flash knockdown, get on top in this right out position, or maybe just be able to make it close enough and be the edge of split decision. Like this fight can go a lot of ways. I don't think it's gonna be an easy fight for either guy. I don't see. I can see it as being an awkward, unorthodox fight. Dolidze's awkward striking, Holland's unorthodox striking defense, and Holland's maybe sometimes lack of takedown defense, and Dolidze's lack of takedown off. So this fight can go a lot of ways. But I do feel like Holland should be able to address the grappling. It's not like Dolidze has the best takedown offense, and Holland has underrated grappling if it does go to the ground. And I don't even think Dolidze has really shown the ability to really hold no one down. He held down Anthony Smith. I feel like Anthony Smith was just so accepting of the bottom position. He has been accepting of the bottom position in a lot of fights. It's not just because Dolidze's takedown offense and top pressure was so great. The majority of people that Dolidze fought, he barely could hold him down. So I think Holland should be able to get back to his feet if he wants to get back to his feet. Not to say that'll be easy, but I think it's not. I don't think if Holland wants to get back up, I don't think Dolidze is going to be able to hold him down for 3 minutes around. I don't see that happening unless he has him hurt, and I don't really see that happening either. But I think Holland's grappling should be able to hold up. I think his takedown defense should be able to hold up. I think when Dolidze try to go in the clinch, I think Holland should be able to do well in the clinch, land knees, land elbows. And then he get distance. I think he should be able to outbox him. He's a much cleaner boxer. Dolidze, from the moment I first saw him, was a stiff striker and still a stiff striker. He's getting more comfortable with striking, still very stiff. He's more aggressive. He's more willing to go into the fire, but that don't change the fact that striking still very clunky, still very sloppy, still very slow. And maybe when he was able to get away with it more at light heavyweight and given who he was fighting. But now, at midweight, a faster, sharper striker like Holland, I think he's going to see the same flaws he saw in other fights. And I think Holland just outworks him, outstrikes him, addresses the grappling. Really just just be the more fluid striker and be able to outwork and outstrike Dolidze to a decision here. So in this one, I have Kevin Holland via decision. So yeah, next fight we have in the women's bantamweight division. We got Kayla Harrison versus Caitlin Vieira. And how do did I say the bantamweight division? Women's bantamweight division. If I didn't, I say it now. But how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going high confidence Kayla Harrison to beat Caitlin Vieira. This really could be a lot for me, but that weight cut is always going to be a concern for me for Kayla Harrison, unless it's like she just start doing like this is so easy, this is so easy, this is so easy, or something like. Yeah, it's like 4 fights in. She's been making it. She's won 5 rounds in it, like, and it ain't been no concern. It ain't affect her gas tank, it affect her heart, it ain't affect her nothing. Like I said, she looked good in her last fight with that weight cut, but again, it was only 1 round, and again, it was just her first fight there. But I don't know how it's gonna look going forward. But that's really my only concern. But skill for skill, this is one of the easiest fights to pick of the whole year. Skill for skill. Caitlin Vieira is a pillow, just a bully, and now she's not even gonna have the size. She's aggressive, come forward, but she got no chin, she got no power, slappy little weak punches. Pathetic fighter overall, to be honest. Embarrassing, to be honest. Lost to Holly Holm pretty clearly, and the judges just gifted her for whatever reason. But yeah, Kayla Harrison. I don't think Kayla Harrison's gonna be too worried about her striking, like for Vieira, like. Vieira probably should be the better striker, but is it a big threat? No. Holly Holm was able to take her down at will. Kayla Harrison be able to take her down and be able to dominate her on the ground. Not really to see Kayla Harrison is flipping her on her head, probably concussing her, and then snapping her arm and putting an arm bar and getting her out of there in the first round. Pretty easy work for Kayla Harrison. Vieira, where is the threat really? Aggression with no real threat is all Vieira is. Harrison. Vieira, got knocked out more times she knocked anyone out. And really her knockouts just been accumulation, if anything. And Kayla Harrison used to dealing with bigger and better fighters, and she'll be able to dismantle her, get her out of there easy. So, in this one, I got Kayla Harrison via first round submission. So, Kayla Harrison, first round submission. We got 3 more fights left. Now to our next fight we have in the bantamweight division. We got Jose Aldo versus Mario Bautista. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Jose Aldo to beat Mario Bautista. And I just remember the guy's name. Yeah, low confidence Jose Aldo to beat Mario Bautista. Really, it could be average, but you're dealing with an old Aldo, or at least old by his standard because he's been fighting. So I think he's 35, 36. By some people, they're still in their prime, looking the best they ever looked. But Jose Aldo, this guy been a champion since he was 23. He's been championship level since 23. Now he's 36. That's a long time to be championship level. He's not a guy that, I just turned 30 now. I hit my stride. He hit his stride at 23. So 36 for him is well over the hill, especially the mileage. But yeah, I feel like Mario Bautista pretty much in the same category as Jonathan Martinez, give or take. And I feel like this is very similar to his fights. Aldo's fights for Rob Font and Marlon Vera, similar level guys. Definitely different fighters, different strengths, but similar level. And I feel like Bautista and Martinez are similar level. You know, built up good streaks, but mostly against mediocre competition. You know, kind of some trademark wins in there, but none of those wins are that they had are over guys that are like truly elite. Most of them just over guys, you know. And Bautista had some pretty mediocre wins. Like he went tooth and nail with Jay Perry. Like this thing. Who is Jay Perrin? Who is Jay Perrin? And this guy went tooth and nail with Jay Perrin. And he lost around and had the edge around very closely to Jay Perrin. I think it was short nose, but still, who is Jay Perrin to be? You know, that's a guy you have on your streak, and you struggle with a guy that Raul Rosas Jr. just like treated like he was a child. So like, you know, he got some questionable wins on that streak, and he got some questionable losses on his career. He has a foot no way to skill Aldo, even an old Aldo. He has foot no one near the caliber Aldo. And his last fight, he looked good against Simone, but Simone's not nowhere near the level of Aldo as far as striking is. And also, he got knocked up by, I think, with guillotine choke by an old, off the couch Uriah Faber. Again, but I'm all over the place with this prediction. But basically, I don't feel like Bautista's grappling is all that great to beat on any big threat to Aldo. I don't feel like his pacing is all that great. Maybe the altitude might play a factor. I still feel like Aldo's a much better striker. And when you look at the striker that Aldo lost to, Petr Yan, who people love to glaze. Petr Yan is one of the best strikers in the division still. You know, McGregor's one of the best strikers of all time. Max Holloway's one of the best strikers still and of all time. Volkanovski, one of the greatest fighters period of all time. Like, look at who he's losing to. And then against Merab, he didn't really even have a bad fight. Merab just constantly stayed on his hip, like hugged him for dear life. Couldn't even get a takedown. You know, just constantly kept takedown. So he lost to elite competent, and Merab's the champion now, and dominated the actual champion that's young and in his prime, Sean O'Malley for a lot of rounds, like two of the 5 rounds, and he didn't do that to old Aldo. So has Aldo really looked bad enough to say that he's gonna lose to a guy like Mario Bautista? I don't think so. I still think even at this point, Aldo's still the much better striker. Could easily stuff the takedowns of Bautista and just pick him apart on the feet. Could really get a stoppage. But I'm going to say decision. And Batista's chin not even that good. So Aldo could get a stoppage, but I think at this point in the career, I don't think Aldo's going to be getting a whole lot of stoppages or really be pursuing them so much. He's more so going to look to put on a clinical performance. And if the stoppage is there, he'll go for it, or if it happens, but he's not going to be chasing. He's going to be looking to just be the better striker and put his strikes together and mixing his takedowns and just be a step or 2 or 3 ahead of Bautista the whole fight. And just put on a clinic yet again, just like he did in his last fight. So, in this fight, I have Jose Aldo via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's bantamweight division for the undisputed women's bantamweight championship. We got Raquel Pennington versus Juliana Pena, and this is a long-time grudge match. Raquel Pennington, let's be honest. Let's not try to be like, oh, this and that. You have no angle. You were just a hater. You were a biased fighter from the jump. Let's just be honest. Pena won the season. She beat who you lost to, dominated her and stopped her. Easy work. Won the championship. Won that. She got to the belt before you. Now you got a chance because, Nunes not there. And you got to fight, now you're the champion. But I'm going Juliana Pena, low confidence to beat Raquel Pena. Definitely a tough matchup. And I feel, a lot of stuff going on here. I'm not going to get too much like, oh, she deserves to be the favorite, deserves this, deserves that. Like, I guess she deserves to be the favorite. Pennington does. But picking Juliana Pena, it concerns me that she did come up to the location, the high altitude, a little bit late or later than she should have. That's a concern here. But I still think Juliana Pena should be able to win this fight. Pena, like, regardless, she's a fighter that's going to push the pace as long as fight needs to go. And it's not like Pennington is just like this great, grinding, grueling fighter who, really got great finishing potential. She's just really more so just a scrappy journeywoman. She managed to get the belt because the great fighter retired. But by no means would she ever got a belt at 35, 25, 45 if a great fighter didn't just leave. Like, at her core, she's just a journeywoman. She don't have the material to be a champion. She just got the chance to get the championship because by fighting a person who wasn't great. I'm gonna throw all these barbs out there, but it is what it is. It's the truth. The hard truth, it is what it is. But you can go down and say you're a champion, really a paper champion. But I think Juliana Pena's style, she's gonna be constantly pushing the takedown, constantly pushing the work rate, and that's just who she is. And we have seen Pennington, struggle with fighters that look to wrestle her and grapple her. Holly Holm was able to really beat her 2 times by walling and stalling. I think Pena's going to constantly be looking to wall and stall, looking at the level change and put it to the ground. Have awkward striking. I can see Pennington had really good, stopping ability, and she could counter Pena and, hurt Pena. But I don't really feel like she has, like, consistent power or consistent good counters. So I feel like Pena's going to be able to get away with her, windmill punches and just constantly being in her face, constantly level change, constantly mixing up takedowns. And unlike her last opponent, who assessed the bottom position, and that wasn't the first time in that Mayra Bueno Silva career that she accepted bottom position. She accepted bottom position with this other fighter. You know, this kind of mid-level wrestler like Montana De La Rosa. That fight went to like a draw, and she was hurting Montana De La Rosa. But even like Montana De La Rosa, not sound like I'm probably sounding like I'm speaking a mile a minute, but so let me slow it down. And even in like flashback fight, Montana De La Rosa getting hurt and dominated on feet was able to get takedowns and ride out the positions, ride out rounds against Mayra Bueno Silva because she doesn't conserve her cardio well, and she does a step bottom position, tries to go for submission attempts. Whereas Julia Pena is a top grappler. She has some bottom submission game, but I don't really respect Pennington's takedown offense. I don't really respect Pennington's top game, and I feel like Pena's wrestling is much better. And she's far less accepting of a bottom position. She'll battle for those, battle for that top position, and she has never accepted bottom position, unlike really anyone in this division. So Pena's gonna be grinding. She's gonna push in the pace. I feel she could get a stoppage, but I feel like Pena is really just gonna outgrind her and outwork her. And I'm not too concerned about the high altitude for Pena or the layup. I think that's just who she is, and she's gonna constantly come in and bring the grind and not shy away from it. That is who she is, regardless. So I think she's gonna bring that style regardless, and that's gonna serve her well to get a decision. Again, so in this one, I have Juliana Pena via decision. Now to our main event, we have in the light. I just exited out of my name. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. But yeah. But back to the prediction. So main event, we have in the light heavyweight division, we have Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. And how do I feel? Well, with reigning champion, did I say reigning champion Pennington? But it don't matter. But reigning light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira versus Khalil Rountree Jr. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence Alex Pereira to beat Khalil Rountree Jr. And this could be a high, could be a lock, but I don't have the greatest track record with Rountree Jr. I don't have the worst one ever. But Rountree Jr. is a bit of a wild card. He's the type of guy that can pull off the upset, knock Pereira out, and just spoil the whole bus, spoil the whole train, spoil the party, and then go on to lose to the most mediocre fighter next. Matter of fact, he end up knocking Pereira out, knock him out again in the trilogy, in the whole hype of Pereira, in the Chama Express, in the Chama era, and then lose to like the most mediocre fighter on short notice to defend, for the second defense or the first defense of his belt. He totally is that guy. So that's my concern here. I'm definitely not putting all my eggs in Pereira's basket, is all I'm going to say. But, yeah, Rountree Jr., he's a lethal striker. And another thing, I gave him a compliment, like a backhanded compliment. Now I'm just going to give him a full-on insult. And I really just said the same thing, but, you try to say the angle that Rountree Jr. could attempt to take down. If anything, Pereira has better grappling than Rountree Jr. Just from that little footage I seen from Pereira on a, embedded series, or on his own channel, just about to take down Sean Strickland. He'll be able to take down Rountree Jr. if he wanted to do that, and probably mount him and knock him out. Rountree Jr.'s grappling just seems to never improve, and you take him down, he's just a helpless dog, like a helpless wet puppy, a cat in water, a victim, a wimp. Like, he just turned into a sissy on the ground. So you take him, like, he might try to act like he's not a sissy on the ground by swinging like a moron, like he was against Kudalaba, instead of working back his feet, but the moment he get on the ground, he could see, like, he try to act like he's a tough guy, but as soon as he turned to take him down, he turned into the biggest sissy in the world. And that's the reality. Like, try to be mad about this prediction how you want, but that's the reality. Fix that ground game. It's embarrassing, my guy. You even competed. Matter of fact, you competed. Did 4 months of MMA training, wrestling session. You wrestled in high school for like 2 weeks. Anything. You should not be looking at embarrassing on the ground. I don't care how supposedly world class the guys you in there with. It's literally guys off the street that do better on the ground than Rountree historically. So Rountree, that angle Rountree grappling is asking idea. It's actually a much bigger angle. Pereira could grapple with Rountree, probably get his first submission, possibly. But yeah. But to sum this prediction up, Pereira is the true world class striker. Yes, Rountree is 3-0 against Glory Kickboxers. One of them really should be a loss. But nonetheless, 3-0 against Glory Kickboxers. Solid striker, solid threat. Definitely a beast on the feet. But Pereira is just the more elite striker, the bigger, longer fighter, and the more technical fighter. I feel like Rountree Jr., lethal as he is on the feet, I feel like a lot of times he just turns to a headhunter and he kind of just throws the whole plan out the window. And just, he just sees red. He's a fighter that has achieved a lot, but I feel like a lot of times he turns or resorts and de-evolves back to that fighter that just sees red. Like, you might as well just be a street fighter. It's got to just keep swinging the same hook, keep swinging the same. He did that against Mikhail Alexeychuk. He did that against Marcin Prashnel. Again, a lot of mistakes in his career. He could turn it all around with this one, and it's like, well, at the end of the day, regardless of what happens after this, I'm the champion with this performance. But I have to go Pereira here. I think Pereira is gonna be the smarter, sharper fighter. Pick his shots together, use that experience, chop his legs, walk him into counters, break Rountree Jr. down. Then I think he puts him away in the second round. So, second round via TKO. So in this one, I have Alex Pereira via second round TKO. And that concludes my fight predictions for the full card of fights for UFC 307 Pereira versus Rountree. And as always, thanks for watching. Well, thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.